Welcome back to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez and I am your host and your business advocate. We are back with another amazing segment with yet another expert in the field of IT and all kinds of wireless connections and amazing things. So, Mr. Jim Bradfield with NAS Wireless. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
It's an amazing opportunity to speak with you because you have an extensive background in your industry. I'm not going to spoil it for everyone. You're the expert. We're going to allow you to, showcase your expertise, and that way folks can get to know you a little bit more and get to know more about that industry. So let's dive right into it, Jim. I think we're going to have a great conversation here. Your expertise spans wide range, from secured wireless networking to healthcare IT. How do you stay ahead of all of this technological advancements in these areas? I mean, there's got to be some sort of a system process where it allows you to stay ahead of everything.
Yeah, so all of the vendors and the manufacturers actually have a lot of training that they offer. In fact, if you're not careful, they'll overwhelm you. You have maybe 100 emails in a week from manufacturers and vendors asking for training, and giving you different webinars and different information and things like that. So what I do is I choose every one of them. I actually accept all of them. I go through everything, and then what I do is they record them for you. So it's the best way to learn. It's the best way to go through everything that you would ever want to have. That's one of the things that, especially new guys in the industry or guys who are coming from, one type of a segment to another. Learn as much as you can. Go to these webinars, and it's out there. Grab them. Do everything you can to look at them. Save them, record them, and go back when you can and listen to them as you drive or as you walk or whatever.
Right.
That's the best way to go about it.
Absolutely. One of the things that we know as, humans from this planet is that we learn by repetition, right? So making
Right.
sure we always go back and listen to them, we gain a little bit more knowledge every time we do. Jim, can you discuss a recent innovation that you believe will significantly impact the industry?
Yeah, so everybody talks about artificial intelligence, but AI. But AI is to be used in the software application typically. So I look for applications that operate on just about anything with that can be operated with wireless. So the one that I've been looking at the most recently is has to do with RFID tagging. And RFID tagging, we pioneered that back in the old days with a fellow named Walton, who was the guy that actually patented RFID tagging. We did that with cattle, and used to see these big old things in the cattle's ears, the big yellow
Mm-hmm.
tag.
Yeah.
Now they have a little RFID tag that goes right in the ear. And I actually talked to somebody on the plane with me the other day, and they said, you know what? We go out there, it's such a great innovation. We go out there with a little wand, and we can wand that tag in that cow's ear, and we know exactly where those cattle are. Well, everything that you can imagine can have an RFID tag to it and be categorized and actually viewed over wireless. I've got a good friend who works at the VA, and they are etching all their tools with RFID tagging, if you can believe that. And everybody's documentation nowadays, that's everybody from legal, that's anything you can imagine that's got a file, they put an RFID tag on that thing, and you can actually read that over a wireless network. It can be read over a scanner over the network. And so that's one of the things I'm looking at. The biggest one right now that we're dealing with is in healthcare. Um, for RFID tagging, for an example, they started out with babies. So Stanley, who makes tools, the Stanley Tools people, they bought
Mm-hmm.
a company, now they call it Stanley Healthcare. What they do is they actually put a monitor, a tag on a brand new, newborn baby. And the reason they do that is because they found that with child abductions, it turns out to be 3 out of 4 are abducted not on the streets, but at the cradle at the hospital. And so they have this thing now where you can tag these little babies and you can follow them all throughout the hospital. And you put a specialized wireless network together for that. It's called RTLS. And depending on who you're talking to, it's real time location services or systems, depending again who it is. But the point is that that can track those babies all the way throughout the hospital, anywhere outside, inside. And then when it's time to get the baby back, for example, they go through a thing called kisses, and the mother does an audible sound over the wireless, and they tell them, yeah, this is my baby, this is my guy, whatever. And so uh, they have now moved that from just babies in incubators and in cradles. And they now do that in all kinds of healthcare applications. So, like if you have a family member in a home, in a care home, they will give them a little tag. Like you see the tag if you go to the hospital, you have a little tag in your arm. They'll put an RFID tag on you. And so those people who are typically troubled, maybe they have Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever,
Hmm.
they actually can tag those people as they walk around and as they go anywhere within the facility. So they know where you are. And they also take care of people who have balance problems and fall and things like that. So that's one of the new innovations. So most of the hospitals are really rushing to get into that RFID tagging, and it's a really huge application in healthcare. It's also a huge application for warehouses now. They can actually
Hmm.
scan and tell what parts there are, what things are missing, what type of equipment has to be put together, what's on pallets, what's been received, what's in inventory, and that kind of thing. So just imagine any application can have an RFID tag. And what we do is we figure out how to get that data from the piece of equipment to the wireless to the application, which then is run usually with help from AI.
Wow, that is an amazing topic. I had no idea, and I'm sure we can unpack that even more, Jim, because I know that there's a lot that goes into that, especially with what they're doing with infants and babies in the hospitals and whatnot. There's a lot to talk about there, but let's dive in a little bit more onto your experience in the world and what you've provided to others in the world. You were a former guest host on a TV show named Next Wave, and you've also been involved in public speaking and in the media. How has that experience influenced your leadership style and approach to team building and management in the tech world?
Well, it turns out that, and this can be applied to anybody, but especially in the tech world, you know, I I've struggled for quite a while with being the smartest guy in the room. I had all the studying, all the data, all the information and things like that. And, I noticed that it bottlenecked everything. So the biggest deal is to make sure that you're not the smartest guy in the room, that you have a team full of people who can actually do um, everything that needs to be done. And if you don't have the actual team put together under yourself, then don't be afraid to go outside and do it. And one of the things that like for example, our team has a core specialty. We're willing to integrate and work with just about any application, any kind of thing that comes up that a customer will come to us with. And the biggest thing is, you've got to remember you got to work on a team concept. So you put all your parts together. They think together. They have an EQ that works all together. So now have the sum total is more than just the single parts, right? So it's a whole team application. And again, you've got to really be careful. The clients have told me, the biggest clients have told us, look, the best thing you guys do is work with other organizations out there who don't know or don't have any idea how to do other things. They do one thing really well, but they don't know the rest of it. So you guys work with them. Yeah, that's what we do. I put the teams together and I grab people from all over the place and put everybody together and make sure that we get an entire team working on a project. So the customer is ultimately very happy. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I see.
That's amazing. So it's all about, you know, having the right team mindset, not just an individual mindset, but it's a one team type of mindset, which is basically the culture of your business, right? And that's how that's the only way, and from my expertise, is that a team, a business can actually move forward with. It starts with the right leadership, but not just the right leadership, the right leadership that has the right mindset, right? To lead
Right.
the team and provide that culture. So, Jim, it's always a great conversation having you on the show and you providing us with tons of education. We certainly do appreciate you being here, and we appreciate the knowledge and all of your expertise. And I know you and I still have to do a one-to-one meeting because I love the history of your family in the communications field. I remember that from last week. So we'll definitely get that done. Folks, we are going to go into a commercial break. We're going to come back with another expert that's going to give us a much more education in business. So stay right there. We'll be right back.